Hi everyone, thanks for clicking onto my Weather Extra. We have a big storm on the way and winds will lead headlines. The time frame for our strongest winds will be Monday afternoon, Monday evening, and Monday night. So, storm headlines. Based on my forecast today, power outages are likely. Gusts of 50 to possibly as high as 70 miles per hour, and the strongest winds will likely be felt at the coastline. The time frame for these strong winds will be between the hours of 5 p.m. Monday and 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening on Monday. It's probably around 7 or 8 that they really get going. It's during that period we get our likely peak winds. Coastal flooding will be an issue, and the time frame for that will be the high tide around 11:30 in the morning and around midnight tomorrow night. Now, I briefly want to show you the wind setup here. I want to show you why we're playing with fire here. This is a display which allows us to analyze different computer models. This is called the BuffKit Overview. This is the North American model, or the NAM, initialized this morning around 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, the way you read this, you read it from right to left. So this right here is about where we are tonight, 8 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and 8 o'clock in the evening on Monday. You see those little lines right there? That's 1,000 feet in elevation, 2,000 feet in elevation, 3,000 feet in elevation. So these are different lines indicating height in the atmosphere. Note around 3,000 feet in elevation, we're seeing a low-level jet of about 90 knots, close to 100 miles per hour, not that high above the surface of the ground. At the ground level, we're seeing sustained winds based on this model of about 30 knots. Those yellow lines are 30 knots. Those green lines are 45 knots. So based on this, we would see winds gusting to 50, maybe as high as 60 miles per hour based on just those surface winds alone. Now, these yellow lines you see right there, that thicker yellow line, that's what we call the mixing layer. During our typical nor'easters, that mixing layer is very close to the ground level. We call that the inversion, or the marine inversion. Now, based on the physics of this storm setup and the water temperature, that mixing layer is just a little bit higher. Notice it's going right up over 1,000 feet in elevation. So there it is, 1,000 feet. So theoretically, anything under that mixing layer, you see right there, 60 knots, that could mix right down to the ground in a mechanism being a thunderstorm or a heavy downpour. So we need to keep a close eye on where the heavy downpours, when the heavy downpours come in, because it's that kind of mechanism that could transport some of these winds of about 60 or 70 knots right down to the ground level here. So the time frame for that will be around 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and that's something we need to monitor closely during the afternoon and evening. This storm is a beast. There it is, located off the Carolina coast this evening. The storm is still expected to make landfall over New Jersey. A Category 1 storm, sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. This is a 5 o'clock update. We're still awaiting the 8 o'clock update. That will be out rather shortly. The pressure in the storm is just incredible, down to 952 millibars. So this is an extremely strong storm with an extremely large wind field. Here are a few forecast models. This is valid tomorrow evening around 8 o'clock. This is the European model, and it's actually been handling this storm very well. That right there is the center of the storm. That's the coast of New Jersey. The storm's going to make landfall somewhere in New Jersey as a 950 millibar low. Now, this is the GFS model, down to 945 millibars. That closed contour, that's a measure of pressure and how low the pressure is. Now, just to put into perspective for you, if this GFS were to verify, that would be the strongest storm as far as pressure goes to make landfall on the East Coast since the great 1938 hurricane. That's lowest pressure was 946 millibars. So this is going to go down in history as one of the big ones around here. All right, let's take a look at the wind field. The Hurricane Center is projecting tropical storm force winds, indicated by the orange, to make it as far north as southern and even northern New England, even southern Maine and southern portions of New Hampshire. So even here in northern parts of the storm, we are going to get some strong winds out of this one. That has prompted the Weather Service to issue this high wind warning from 2 o'clock in the afternoon Monday to 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Again, in my opinion, the strongest winds probably around 7 or 8 o'clock on Monday evening as that low-level jet really gets cranking overhead. As far as the coastal flooding goes, we have a coastal flood warning in effect. And the time frame for that is the high tide around 11:30 tomorrow morning and also around midnight tomorrow night. Now, it's already running high around 10 feet. Flood stage in Portland is around 12 feet. This is the 11:30 high tide. So one of the forecast models here is projecting that the tide is going to be between 1.5 and 2 feet above normal. This is just one forecast model. The Weather Service is still suggesting 2, 3, maybe as high as 4 feet above normal. So it looks like we're going to see at least minor flooding especially here in York County and Cumberland County, and those high tides of concern are 11:30 and midnight tomorrow night. In addition to all of that, we're going to get some rain out of this one. I expect between 2 and as much as 5 inches of rain. Heaviest rainfall, or the heaviest amounts, will likely be in the foothills and mountains here at the coastline. We'll have slightly lighter amounts. Notice the immediate coast is not in this flood watch. This goes from Monday evening through Tuesday evening as well. We'll be watching for any flood warnings. Now to the timing as far as the winds go. Let's start this off at 7 o'clock Monday morning. The wind is coming out of the northeast during this period, and the wind's just starting to pick up. We're sustained around 20-25 miles per hour. This is based off the microcast model. As we head through the afternoon, 1 o'clock, the wind is starting to ramp up. We're going to see our strongest winds at the coastline, so inland areas, slightly a lighter wind, but still a respectable wind event for you as well. Again, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we're looking at 25, maybe 30 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts to as high as possibly 40, 45 miles per hour by early afternoon. Now, the peak of the wind, the absolute worst conditions felt in the storm here in northern New England will likely arrive around 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evenings. During this period, it's just going to be wild around here Monday evening. Notice this model is projecting a sustained wind of 40 to 45 miles per hour straight out of the east, coming right off the ocean. And we'll likely have wind gusts during that period of right around 50 to as high as 70 miles per hour. Let's remember, we were playing with fire with those very strong winds aloft, so we're watching to see if any of those heavy downpours transport some of those extreme winds down to the surface. So I'm not even going to rule out wind gusts even higher than 70 if the right conditions come together. For now, I'm going to say 50 to as high as 70, though. As far as the rainfall goes, we're going to see the rain start to move in mostly during the afternoon and evening on Monday. During the morning, just the chance for drizzle and some showers, not going to really be a big deal, but the wind will start to ramp up around midday or afternoon. Let's stop this around, actually this is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The heavy rain is still to our south, is during that period, 7, 8 o'clock, the heaviest bands move through, but notice by Tuesday, we're seeing some improvement. Just on and off showers, the wind is starting to relax as well. Instead of winds gusting 50 to 70, we'll have winds gusting maybe 20, 25, maybe as high as 30 miles per hour. So on and off showers continue on Tuesday. Wednesday, chance for showers again, cloudy skies. Thursday, more of the same, just mainly cloudy, slight risk for a shower, and then more showers are likely on Friday. It is possible we could go a good solid week almost without seeing the sun if all the right conditions come together here. So again, the big story, obviously wind, power outages are likely. Stay tuned to the forecast. I'll have an update tonight at 11. And of course, Craig will have the forecast tomorrow morning on daybreak. That's the way things look tonight. I hope everyone has a nice night.